Matter of Thomas Serino and Emily Stevens. I have received, this is the date and time set for a trial. I have received documentation from Ms. Stevens. And I believe I've also received some exhibits from Mr. Serino that look like a lease agreement and some pictures of the apartment. And then from Ms. Stevens, I've received also some pictures of the apartment purporting to show what it was when, or close to when she moved in, the damages and that sort of thing. And then some, looks like some text messages between Mr. Serino and herself, picture of some smoke alarms and damages to the house. All right, how are we to proceed today? Let me start with Mr. Serino. What do you think we need to do today, Mr. Serino?
Your Honor, Mr. Kuhn and I are seeking a judgment for $875 to cover the cost of damage as well as missing items, broken mailbox, missing garage overhead door, smoke detectors, and general cleaning for a total of $875 plus costs.
All right, and Ms. Stevens, from your perspective, what are you seeking?
I'm just seeking, I guess, transparency and the condition of all those things. And I want the evidence that I didn't damage or remove doors or take those things to be considered as well, because they're not true.
All right, Mr. Serino, have you looked at her evidence?
I have not seen her evidence, Your Honor. Mr. Kuhn is here, and he did go into the house after she moved out, and he did all the repairs himself. And all these things that I've been mentioning are based on a exit damage report, which I typed up based on his report. The exit damage report is everything Mr. Kuhn did after she moved out. I have not been in the building since she moved out.
All right, Ms. Stevens, did you send a copy of your documentation to Mr. Serino?
No. I'm not aware. I didn't know I was needed to send him pictures and stuff. I can share my screen.
Well, it's hard to do a trial, and I get it that you guys are not attorneys and don't know how to do these things. So I'm aware of that. It's just hard to do a trial if the parties haven't talked to each other and if they haven't shown each other what the information is that they have, because then everybody's in the dark and nobody knows what the other side thinks that they know, and nobody can say, oh, I see that now, but here's my answer to that, because they don't have time to go research it or look it up or to get the evidence that is out there. So we're left with, I can tell you this, Judge, but I don't have the pictures of it, or I don't have the information of it, or somebody else knows it. So what I have then is lack of information on my side, and I'm supposed to be the one that's making a decision. So the general requirement is that both sides, if you send something to the court, you have to send it to the other side so that they have a chance to review it and can counter it if there's information available. So I'm somewhat reluctant to go forward today when neither side has seen what the other side has by way of information. Because when I first look at it, it looks to me, and again, I'm not trying to decide this ahead of time, but it looks to me like Ms. Stevens has some information that some of the stuff was damaged previously. And maybe I'm wrong, but it at least starts to look that way. And so I want to have Mr. Serino and Mr. Kuhn have an opportunity to look at that ahead of time and say, okay, but here's what is what really happened from our perspective. And I don't know that they'd have a proper chance to do that if I just go ahead today and say, let's just do it and get it done with. So I want to make sure that I'm fair to both sides. And I also want to give Ms. Stevens an opportunity to make sure that she knows exactly what Mr. Kuhn.
Right from the opening, the case establishes a clear conflict. A landlord demanding $875 for alleged damages and a tenant firmly denying responsibility. What makes this moment compelling is how quickly both sides lock into opposing narratives. There's no hesitation, no uncertainty, just accusation versus denial. It immediately raises a central question. Is this a legitimate claim or an exaggerated attempt to recover costs? That tension becomes the driving force of everything that follows.
Is going to testify to, because I didn't know that he did the work himself. I know that he's done some of that in other cases, but I didn't know that he did in this case. So I want Ms. Stevens to be aware of what he knows ahead of time as well. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to set Mr. Kuhn, are you going to be going back down to Florida in the near future?
I live here now.
Your Honor, Miss Stevens has a copy of the exit damage report. She has had it.
I moved out in March 2025, and I did not hear a word about damages or get receipts or a list or anything until October when I got delivered certified mail. So I did get a list by Mr. Kuhn with a list that some are doubled items. And it says on there that he didn't inspect it before I moved in. So I'm not sure how he decided what was broken by me. But in 7 months after I moved out, I never got this at all.
All right. So, Mr. Sereno, I see what you're calling as the exit damage report that's got Mr. Kuhn's name down at the bottom of it. And it says exit damage report at the top. And a total of $875. Was there a initial walkthrough at the beginning of the lease?
Yes, sir. Yes, it was, Your Honor. And I took pictures the day before she moved in on October 31st. And I did provide those pictures.
So where is that document that says he did a walkthrough the day prior to the lease?
There is no document. I looked for it. There wasn't one, Your Honor. I couldn't find one.
But you say that there are pictures?
Yes, I provided those to Miss Good. I emailed them to her. And if you click on the picture and right click on the picture, it'll show you the properties and it'll show you what date I took those pictures, which is up the day before she moved in. Showing no
pictures
damage.
Are those the pictures that you included with the lease agreement that I talked about before?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
So that's from before, not afterwards.
Before she moved in. Those pictures were taken on October 31st. And she has the exit. She just admitted that she does have the exit damage report.
Well, you guys want to have a hearing today, or do you want to postpone it and talk to each other?
If we postpone it, I have to come back down to Florida, and which I will do.
Well, we can get on Zoom. Mr. Kuhn can get on Zoom, or he can have somebody help him get on Zoom. He's got kids. They know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it. At 94, I'm probably not going to learn.
Where's your closest daughter?
Closest daughter is in
4 hours away.
Venice, which is about 200 miles away.
All right. Ms.
Oh,
Stevens, do you want to go today?
I'd just like to make a mention that I've been renting in the Gaylord area. I, of course, lived there. I've been renting up there for 45 years. I had currently 3 places. And every time I have a renter leave, I have an opportunity to look at the house. I didn't in this case. But whatever, if they leave me or don't leave me, I put it all back in perfect shape. And if they would, if somebody new comes into the house to rent, they have an opportunity to, I'll walk through it with them. And if there's anything that they don't like, I can fix it. I always leave my places clean and safe. I'd leave them like I'd want them if I was gonna move in myself. So when she
All right.
moved in there,
Well,
she
let's hang on. You're gonna
Nice.
have a chance to testify, Mr. Kuhn, but let's hang on before we get the cart before the horse. Ms. Stevens, do you want to go have a hearing today?
Would I be allowed to play or show my photos or share my
Yes.
screen with the videos and stuff? I mean, I
Yes.
don't know what else I could get that would change what I have, so.
All right. We're on the record on this matter, right? All right. I'm going to have everybody sworn in at the same time and we'll simply go from there. So if you all raise your right hands, please, so I can swear you in. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Ms. Stevens,
I do.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kuhn,
Yes.
Mr. Sereno.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead and put your hands down then. This is the Mr. Sereno's matter. Mr. Sereno, are you telling me that Mr. Kuhn did all the work himself, so you really don't need to testify a lot?
No, Your Honor. He was in Florida and he came up in June in preparation to sell the place, and he found it in disrepair, and he did all the work himself.
All right. Is there any other information before I go to Mr. Kuhn that you want me to be aware of, Mr. Sereno?
I believe you have all the information I have right now, Your Honor.
All right. And
The
the
pictures you have.
documents that you sent me include a one-page lease agreement, which does not have a signature on it. And then actually it's a two-page, then it has an inspection checklist, which is not filled out. Are you
Right.
saying-
The judge halts the momentum and shifts focus to something deeper: procedure. This isn't just about damage anymore. It's about fairness. Neither side has properly shared evidence, and suddenly the case feels unstable. The judge even hints that the tenant may have proof supporting her side. That subtle observation plants doubt early, making the audience question whether the landlord's claim will hold up under scrutiny.
that that's an example of the lease agreement, or is that the actual lease agreement?
The lease agreement is just unsigned, Your Honor. I didn't include the original. I couldn't find the original because I might have sent it to Mr. Kuhn, but that's what the lease agreement looks like. That is the lease agreement. It's on the computer. It's just not signed because it was still on the computer. I printed it off.
All right. And then you're telling me that the 5 pictures that are attached to that were taken in October prior to the entry of the lease term. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And those show the condition of the house at issue just prior to or within days of the move-in by the defendant. Is that correct?
The day before, Your Honor, and when I took the pictures, I didn't notice any discrepancies. I would have noticed something if I was taking pictures.
All right. Ms. Stevens, you are entitled, let me do it this way. Mr. Sereno, is there any other information that you want me to be aware of in regard to this case?
No, I think that the exit damage report speaks for itself, Your Honor.
All right, and the exit damage report was submitted along with your original documentation as a part of your complaint. Is that correct?
Not at the same time as the original complaint, Your Honor. I provided the pictures later.
Right, but
Most recently.
the exit damage report itself was part of the complaint.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that documents what Mr. Kuhn did, and I'll talk to him about that, but that documents what Mr. Kuhn did and why he wants his 875 in response. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Stevens, you have the right to cross-examine Mr. Sereno based on his testimony and ask him any questions that you want to ask. You will at a later time have the ability to present your own evidence, but do you have any questions for Mr. Sereno at the moment?
Sure. I guess my first question I would like to ask is why or maybe just point out the garbage disposal is on the list of damages 2 times for $200 each. I just want to point out that error.
Well, why don't you ask a question as to why that's so, and then I'll get his response, and then we can go from there.
Okay. So I guess I'd like to ask why that's on there twice.
Mr. Sereno, are you aware?
I would have to defer to Mr. Kuhn because he found is that in the exit damage report, Emily?
Yes, it says garbage disposal 200, and then below that it says the kitchen incinerator 200.
I didn't, Mr. Kuhn took care of that.
All right, when we get to Mr. Kuhn, you can ask him that question. Any other questions that you have for Mr. Sereno?
Yeah, I guess I'm curious why I didn't hear about this in March, April, May, June, July, or any time before October. And it took until after the last court session for me to hear about this all.
Primarily because Mr. Kuhn didn't do the work until he got back into Gaylord in June, and that took him, I don't know how long.
Good month.
A good month to do the work.
Okay. Because it seems like 7 months is a long time for me to be surprised by this. And I was also wondering, I guess that's the only questions I can think of right now. Unless I'm allowed to ask more as they come up, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you will be able, Mr. Kuhn is going to testify next. And if you have any additional questions, you can ask those of him. And then if you have specific testimony that you want to give, you'll be allowed to testify after that. So, all right, we'll move to Mr. Kuhn. Mr. Kuhn, from your perspective, why don't you tell me what it is that you did and why you believe that you're entitled to $875?
Well, I got a whole list of things that I did. The place was left quite dirty, for one thing. We had to do a lot of cleaning. My wife was with me. The oven had never been cleaned. It took 3 hours and 2 cans of product to clean the oven. The stove was a glass top stove. It was new when I put it in there. And something had been dropped on it along the edges. And it was all chipped up. I had to get some touch-up paint, clean that up. It looked better, but it wasn't brand new anymore. The garbage disposal was unplugged, and I didn't know why until I plugged it back in, and then I realized it was broken. So I unplugged it. I got a plumber over there, and he replaced it. In fact,
Here, the tenant introduces a critical detail that changes the tone of the case. She claims she heard nothing about damages for 7 months. That delay feels significant. It raises suspicion about how and when these damages were actually identified. At the same time, the landlord struggles to provide clear documentation from the beginning of the lease, creating a gap in credibility that becomes impossible to ignore.
Replaced it with a new one that somebody else had bought and gave me a good price on it. I just passed the price on to Ms. Stevens. And we repainted it all the way through. The smoke detectors in 4 rooms were all missing. Had to buy them. The closet doors were on 2-bedroom doors, and the laundry area in the kitchen, they were all down in the basement. And it looked like they'd been handled kind of rough. There was, somebody had opened up a can of blue paint in the basement, and apparently they had a cat, which the contract said no animals. The cat got into the paint and there was blue paw prints all over the floor. I had to repaint the floor with 2 coats of paint. A lot of things that I did that I haven't put on the list. It was just went on, and we finally got everything clean and got the replaced all of the things that were broken. I had a Lazy Susan in the kitchen. It was in perfect shape because it was a new cabinet when I put it in there. The Lazy Susan was missing. The cabinet outside is there, but the shelving inside of it was all gone out in the garage. And how that got out of there, I have no idea because I couldn't figure out a way to get it back in there. The garage from the time that she lived there, coming in and out of the garage with mud on the car, which we all get mud up there. The floor was so thick that I scraped it, and then I power washed it myself. And then the walls in there were damaged to the point where I painted it all by myself, furnished the paint and painted it. Because when I turned my house over, I wanted it to look nice. And there was a back door missing. It was busted. It was standing in the garage, and it was broken. So I had to replace that. And I took probably 3 or 4 loads of just junk that was left in the house to the landfill. It didn't cost anything, but it takes a lot of time to do those things. So she didn't leave the house in very good shape for somebody that when she went in there 2 years before that, or however long it was, she was excited about getting in there. I think she was probably, I don't know, trying to get away from a situation at home. But every time that she was late on payments, we had a clause in the agreement that it was $25 a day up to a maximum of $75. I told Tom, I said, don't ever charge her late payments. I'm tried to be a decent landlord. And if there was anything broken when she moved in, all she had to do was mention it and it would have been fixed. It's kind of disgusting when you furnish a place for somebody that appreciates a good place at a reasonable price. Now, it was under $1,000 a month, and it was a 4-bedroom house. And it just makes me feel bad that I furnished something that well and somebody doesn't take advantage of it. The towel bar in the bathroom was missing. Just things like that really are irritating when you know you do the best you can to make a place look nice. Anyway, that's what I got to say about that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kuhn. Ms. Stevens, do you have any questions for Mr. Kuhn?
Not really questions, just more kind of just, I guess I'm curious how, I'm sorry?
You'll be able to testify to things that you disagree with in his exit damage report if you want to do that. But the question, I have to go back and forth and give each party an opportunity to ask follow-up questions. So that's what we're doing at this point. Any questions that you have?
I guess the only one that I really had that was, I'm just curious how Mr. Kuhn determined that I did that stuff to the house, taking doors off hinges and damaging things if he never did the entry examination. He never inspected it when I moved in. I'm not sure how would he not know that that wasn't already like that when I saw the house?
Mr. Kuhn, did you understand that question?
Not thoroughly, no, I didn't.
She wanted to know.
She wanted to know, yeah, let me ask it for her. She wanted to know how you knew that she did the damage when you weren't a part of the review of the house when she first came in.
Well, because I know how I left the house. I've already stated that I put these houses back in perfect shape. And if there's anything that they need, you know, it would be fixed or taken care of right away.
As the trial officially begins, the landlord's case starts to show structural weaknesses. The lease presented is unsigned, and the inspection checklist is blank. These are not small oversights. They are foundational issues. Without proper documentation, proving the condition of property at move-in becomes extremely difficult. This moment quietly shifts the balance as the judge begins to rely more on logic than assumption.
I try to rent to decent people. I'm not a slumlord. And you know, I rent to good people and I have good people.
All right, thank you. Ms. Stevens, any other questions that you have?
No.
All right. Mr. Kuhn, let me ask you a question about the exit damage report. Ms. Stevens asked earlier to Mr. Serino about the garbage disposal and then the kitchen incinerator, I think is how it's pronounced, is what you're saying. It says garbage disposal replaced $200 up on the top of the report or near the top of the report. Then down about 2/3 of the way, it says kitchen dash incinerator or incinerator is broken, replaced $200. Is that the same
That's
thing
the
that you're
same
talking
thing.
about? So it's on there twice?
Incinerator is a brand name and I used that, but it's a garbage disposal.
So it looks like in your total down at the bottom where you came up with the 875, you've got $200 down there listed twice. Should I take out one of those $200 amounts?
2, 4. Your Honor, we're adding it up right now. The second, you got 2, 4.
Here, you add this up. I got a question for Ms. Stevens.
Okay, hold on.
Is it my turn to ask a question?
Not yet. It
Okay.
will be, but not yet.
All right.
Oh, it's on the bottom. Yes.
Yeah, down near the bottom, it
Okay,
goes
yeah,
200,
you-
300, 20, 80, 200 again, 60 and 15, which appear to be following the list from the top to the bottom
Right,
of the amounts that
exactly.
he did. So
But
I would take out one of those $200.
I didn't realize the incinerator was the same thing as the garbage disposal. Is that what it is?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, it's the
Yep.
same thing, Your Honor. So,
All right,
yeah,
so
we can take out 200.
All right, so we're down to 675 as the requested amount. All right,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kuhn, have you seen the pictures that Ms. Stevens submit? Well, I think the answer to that is no, because you already told me. You've not seen the pictures that Ms. Stevens submitted to the court yet, right? Is that
No.
correct?
That's
All
correct.
right. Let me kind of describe it to you. And again, this is part of the reason why I don't like doing it this way, but let me do it too. There's a picture of appears to be a closet where it said in one of the rooms. And again, I don't know where it is, but it appears to be that there's no doors, no foldable doors on the closet. Is that what the closet came with in one of the, looks like one of the bedrooms?
Oh, 2 bedrooms and the, excuse me, the laundry room. Yes, I had
Right.
bifold doors and they've all worked well. And when I got
Right,
in there after she moved out, they were in the basement.
All right, and she has a picture of that which says at the bottom of it, November the 11th of 2021. And that was about the time that she moved in, if I remember correctly. Mr. Sereno was saying October, the end of October was when he did his walkthrough and took your pictures. And then she's got a picture that shows no doors on it about 10 days later, 11 days later. So let me see if there's other pictures of a similar kind of thing.
She must, yeah. She took them off. They were in there.
All right, so your information and your belief is that the doors were on there
I
when
know
you
they were.
last. All right. One of the other things that are listed on your exit damage report include a dryer vent hose. It says that dryer vent hose was trashed, extra cleaning because vent hose was not usable, 1 hour, $20. Do you know when that vent hose was last replaced?
It was brand new when she moved in there.
All right, she
It
has,
looked like it had been stepped on and it was pulled out of it wasn't hooked up anymore. And when she was using the dryer, apparently all the dust from the dryer.
The property manager delivers a detailed and emotional account of the home's condition, describing it as neglected and poorly treated. The vivid descriptions, from a filthy oven to paint tracked by a cat, paint a dramatic picture. But while the story is compelling, it also raises a question. Is this objective evidence or subjective reaction? The intensity of the testimony makes it engaging, but also invites skepticism about exaggeration. Part 6. This is where the case reaches its peak tension. The tenant challenges how blame was assigned, and the judge introduces photos and messages that suggest some issues existed long before the tenant moved out. The narrative begins to unravel, and the landlord side reacts emotionally, even calling the evidence a lie. That reaction only heightens the drama, as the focus shifts from facts to credibility under pressure.
Accumulated in that room. Because we had a lot
she
of.
has, all right, I apologize for talking over you, but she has a picture again dated November the 11th of 2021, showing the dryer vent hose with what appears to be a kind of a step-on mark on it. And then the end of it, where it would attach to the dryer itself, that appears to be broken as well. So it's
That's
just the hose
exactly
sticking
what I
out.
saw.
Well, that she's saying she took a picture of that exact same way, November the 11th of 2021.
It's a lie, a bold-faced lie. I don't know
Well,
how
what
she
do I
gets
do?
away with lying like that.
Well, Mr. Kuhn, what do I do with a picture that appears to show that? There's also in here looks like a text message with Tom Sereno. It says TS and Tom, dated April the 14th of 2022. The question is, did they say anything about coming back to hook up the dryer? The answer is yes, your hose is no good. This is in April of 22. Next question, okay, so I need to buy a new hose? Yes, but I can pick it up for you. Next question, did they say when they can come back to do that once I buy one? The answer is they won't do that. So it appears in April of 22, Mr. Sereno, at least I'm assuming it's Mr. Sereno, knew about the hose in the dryer being bad. Do you have any information as to that, Mr. Kuhn?
No.
All right, Ms. Stevens, do you have any other questions for Mr. Kuhn?
No, not at this point.
All right. Next, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to give Ms. Stevens a chance to tell me what it is that she wants me to know. And then Mr. Kuhn and Mr. Sereno, then you'll be able to ask your questions that you have of her. So Ms. Stevens, why don't you tell me what it is that you want me to know?
Sure. Thank you, Your Honor. So a couple of things. I just want to touch on each point in the letter that I got. And then if I have your permission, I can play or show some pictures or videos. I shortened
Certainly.
them into small clips.
Yep.
So just on each item in the damage report, I just wanted to address each one individually. As
ahead.
you'll see in the video and the pictures, the closet doors on the bedrooms and the washer and dryer were never on. I don't even know how to take doors off, let alone tote them down the stairs and everything. They were never on, and the videos and pictures show that. I never touched those. I didn't have the tools or know how to do that. The damage on the stove, there was a large dent on top of the stove that was there again in November 2021. I did sign the lease. I believe it was right around Halloween, but I did not actually move into the home until after the holidays because my husband and I were getting divorced and we didn't want to tell the kids until after Christmas. So I was renting it, but I was not fully moved in yet. And the video will show the house was completely empty. There's nothing in there. I didn't have tools or anything to do this. And the damage on the stove is shown in that video when I was doing a walkthrough. His Honor already talked about the hose. You can see that completely damaged in my walkthrough video in early November. One of the other points on the damage is about ceiling damage that was done by buildup of ice and snow. We actually went to court over this in August, and it was found in my favor by the court. And this was a result of just ice damage and water damage, basically caving in the ceiling area of the back sunroom.
There's no question about that in this case.
Okay, thank you. I did take off, there was a small little towel rack on the back behind the toilet. I did remove that and I put that inside the bathroom closet. It was on the shelf. It was 2 screws. I did that so I could put a little shelf on the back of the toilet, but I didn't damage the wall doing that. I didn't put it back on because I moved out pretty abruptly due to the ceiling damage. I wanted to talk about the fire alarms. You'll also see a picture of a spot in my walkthrough video where you can see where a fire alarm is supposed to be. These were fire alarms that are actually wired into the ceiling or the wall. They have wired things sticking out. None of them were in place in the house, so I actually supplied all the fire alarms, just battery operated ones, and hung them around and put them on high places in the house. And I did take those with me when I left because I purchased them. I also bought a carbon monoxide detector. On this list, there's also notice of...
In the final stretch, the tenant methodically counters each accusation with calm and structured explanations. She presents walkthrough videos and details that suggest many issues were pre-existing. The contrast is striking. Where earlier testimony was emotional, this is controlled and precise. It leaves the audience reconsidering everything they've heard and wondering which version of events truly reflects reality. If you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.